Hi everyone, Dr. Brian Steiner here at Woken Spinal Care in Mount Pleasant, PA. This week we're going to talk about nutrition. Now, first thing is, why is a chiropractor talking about nutrition? What you need to know about chiropractic is there's chiropractors out there that specialize in different things. For example, we specialize in decompression and neuropathy. Some chiropractors specialize in neurology, some specialize in pediatric care, some specialize in sports, and some even specialize in nutrition. Now, I'm not specialized in nutrition, but that doesn't mean I don't know anything about nutrition. We are still taught nutrition in school. We go through an extensive program, 3 different nutrition programs that we have a knowledge in. So I do know a lot about nutrition, and that's why I'm sharing that information with you today. So let's dive into the nutrition. So first and foremost, nutrition, what is the definition? Nutrition is the biochemical and physiological process by which an organism uses food to support its life. So in easier terms, we eat food, we survive. We don't eat food, or we don't eat food correctly, it causes diseases and potentially death. So that's why I'm going to talk to you today about nutrition and the different counterparts of it. So going into nutrition, there's 2 different parts of nutrition. There's 2 different categories. The first one is macronutrients, and the second one is micronutrients. So let's go into macronutrients first. Macronutrients consist of 3 different things: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Okay? So as you can see here, I wrote some percentages. These percentages are how much should be daily consumed by the normal human being. So carbohydrates, this one surprises a lot of people. Our bodies should consume at least 35 to 65% of carbohydrates every day. Why? Because people always say carbs are bad. Carbs are what cause fat. Carbs turn into sugar. Yes, that is true. However, carbs are very important because it is important for one major organ. Now, you probably can't tell what it is. It looks like a piece of broccoli. It's not. It's a brain. Carbohydrates are extremely, extremely important for the brain because our brain controls everything that we do in our body. That's why it's so important to consume carbs. Now, what type of carbs are we consuming? That doesn't mean cereal, bad pieces of bread. Like white bread's not good for you. Anything that can turn to sugar. Things that are good carbs are whole grain foods. Like instead of eating white bread, eat whole grain bread or wheat bread. Anything with wheat in it. Beans, legumes, which are also beans. Oatmeal is always a good choice. Oats. Those types of things are good for carbs. Those are what are the carbs we should be consuming. Next thing, proteins. That's a muscle man right there. Again, I tried my best to draw a muscle. I couldn't do it. Protein should consist of 10 to 25% of our daily consumption. Now, when we have proteins, people think, meat, chicken, eggs. Yeah, exactly. Meat, chicken, eggs. But when I go into meat, notice when you read my blog, it says lean meats, not just meat, red meat. Red meat's not good for you. Now, does that mean you can't consume it? No. You can consume it from time to time. But when you go to the grocery store, look for meats that say 93% lean or higher instead of going for 80% lean or 85% lean. 80-85% means there's more fat. The higher that percentage is on lean meat, that tells that there's less fat in there. Those are always the ones to go for. Fish is a lean meat. Chicken's a lean meat. You can find red meat that is leaner. Turkey's a better choice. Pork's not the best choice, but it's better than the red meat. Eating those types of things. But other things that are good in proteins are green leafy vegetables, broccoli, spinach. All those different darker green vegetables, those are higher in protein. Eggs, nuts, peanuts are always a big option, but good peanuts, not the salted kind or flavored kind. Those aren't good for you. You want to get regular nuts, flax seeds, any types of seeds. All those contain a high amount of protein. And what protein does is more than just muscle. People think, it's just for muscle. Another big thing, it's good for skin, it's good for your bone, it's good for cartilage and hair. Another really big thing it's good for is the gut enzymes. It helps with enzymes. And lastly, another big thing it helps with is red blood cell production. Well, without red blood cells, we can't oxygenate blood. So you want to have good enough proteins in your system every day. Last thing is fats. Our body should consist about 10 to 25% of fats as well. Now, if you look here, I broke down fats into 2 different categories. unmonopoly. Those are all one thing containing saturated, so they all follow the word saturated. Unsaturated, monosaturated, polysaturated. The other one is saturated, and I forgot to write in trans fat as well. When you're looking at a nutrition label, you want to look for those terms right there. Unmonopolysaturated fats. Those are your good, healthy fats. Those are the fats you should be consuming. Saturated trans fats. Those are foods that are in more junk food, like chips, crackers, pretzels, all those different things. If you see things that say saturated or trans fat, those are things you want to avoid. Unmonopolyinsaturated fats. Those are your peanuts are always a good option. Eggs, dairy products. Not saying you should consume dairy too much. Avocados are a really good one too. Avocados are probably one of the best healthy fatty foods you could be eating. Fatty fish. Those are all good options there. And if you see here, I drew a picture of a heart. Healthy fats are extremely good for your heart. So don't say, oh, fats are bad for you, I shouldn't be consuming those. No, because you really should be consuming fats. They're actually really good for you. So those are your macronutrients. Micronutrients now. Two different categories in micronutrients. What a micronutrient is it needs to be consumed in the body, but not as in large quantities like a macronutrient is. Micronutrients, your first one is your vitamins. Vitamin A, vitamin B, C, D, all those. Now they're broken up into two different categories, water soluble and fat soluble. Water soluble are vitamins C and all your B vitamins. Those are vitamins that are not stored in the body. You need to consume food in order to do that. Your fat soluble are the vitamins A, D, E, and K that are stored in your liver that are just stored naturally in your body. Okay? Minerals. Minerals are another, it's not your vitamins, it's more like iron, calcium, sodium, things that you need in your body for your body to function properly. Very, very important. Those are things that you need to either take supplements for or you can consume things in your body. Zinc, big one for the immune system. Where's your best source of zinc? And I'm sure I've talked about this before. Oysters. Now, are you going to get oysters every day? No. But just different types of foods contains these different types of minerals. So that is the big category in nutrition. Now, if you look down at the bottom here, I have a pyramid. There's a food pyramid that you can get online, and that's not exactly what the pyramid looks like. There's actually pictures of what foods you should be eating: pastas, grains, fruits, vegetables. But as you go down or up the pyramid, you'll notice carbs, grains. Those are your most important because they consume 35 to 65% of your diet each day. Fruits and vegetables, a little bit less. Dairy, again, you shouldn't be consuming too much dairy. Fats, when it means fats, again, 10 to 25% of your body, but then that's where they start to include like the junk food, but you should really just avoid all those altogether. So that's the gist of what nutrition is. One last thing I'm going to talk about before I let you guys go for today is something called malnutrition. Malnutrition is when people have a poor diet in the body. And there's two different types of malnutrition. You have overweight and, believe it or not, underweight. You know, people think someone's overweight, they're malnutrition. Now, someone who's 6'2", weighs 80 pounds, that person's malnutrition too. You don't need to be overweight to be malnutritioned. There's two different reasons why you can be malnourished. The first reason is you can do something about it, but you choose not to do anything about it. The other person is someone who lives in a third world country and can't get the foods that they should be eating on a daily basis. Those are typically your more under-malnourished individuals. So malnutrition, you need to focus on how do I get that person better, whether it's under-malnourished or over-malnourished. So what can we do to help? There's a lot that we can do to help. Obviously, we're going to adjust the patient. We're going to give them education on nutrition. But sometimes they need more than just the chiropractor to help figure that out. Reach out to a nutritionist. Reach out to a dietitian. We have people that can help you with that. They can sit down, work with you on food plans, what you should be eating a day to lose weight, or if you need to gain weight for that matter. Talk to those individuals. Another important person is a personal trainer. You know, working out is going to help build muscle and burn fat. So if you need someone, go to a local gym. You know, you don't need to go anywhere crazy. You don't need to get a fancy gym. You know, people at the YMCA, they have personal trainers there that can help you lose the weight or gain muscle, whatever you're trying to do, whether you're over malnourished or under malnourished individual. And the last thing, this is all in my blog if you guys are having a hard time following along. This one is also in there. If you need help, talk to somebody. You know, sometimes people need a psychiatrist or a psychologist to talk about these things. Sometimes people are eating because it comforts them and gets rid of their stress. Sometimes people who are under malnourished, people who have an eating disorder, there's a past that why they're doing that. It's all more in the psychological mind, and that's okay. So sometimes you need that help and someone to talk you through that stuff, while also seeing the chiropractor, doing all these different things, nutritionist, dietitian. They can all help you get to where you need to be in order to be a healthy individual. So that's all I have for you guys this week on nutrition. Next week I'm going to talk a little bit more about supplements. So it's going to be a little bit more on nutrition, you know, different types of supplements that can help prevent disease, help keep you stay healthy, stuff like that. So it's going to focus more on the minerals and vitamins per se more than anything. But that's all I have for you guys this week. A lot to take in, but definitely information that's worth knowing. And if you do have questions, again, I'm not a nutritionist, but I do know a lot about nutrition, and I can answer some questions and help you get on the track that you need to be in. But otherwise, everybody have a great week, and I will see you in next week's video.